The beneficiary could be an individual. The beneficiary could be, right, a household. The beneficiary could be a company, etc. So the financial assistance that is given by the government to the beneficiary is called as a subsidy. Now, why does the government provide subsidy? It will provide subsidy so that you can get better quality inputs. It will provide subsidy to promote production, to promote exports, etc. But having said so, are there any concerns regarding subsidies? Of course, yes. Whenever government will provide subsidies, it might lead to higher revenue expenditure deficit burden for the government. Second, whatever subsidies are given may or may not be given to the right beneficiaries. We might end up providing the subsidies for everyone, which is not actually required. Then, whenever subsidies are provided, it will create certain inefficiency in the market, right? It would create supply demand mismatch in the market, etc. After that, what are the kinds of subsidies? Classification of subsidies we have seen: direct, indirect, universal, targeted, implicit, explicit, etc. Then we have seen, right, other classification also: input subsidy, price subsidy, etc. Right. After that, we started discussing the concept of fertilizers. Certain types of subsidies, fertilizers. And in case of fertilizers, what we have discussed, the three very important. In fact, there are four. The three very important fertilizers are: one, nitrogenous based fertilizer, that is urea. Second one is a diammonium phosphate, and the third one is a muriate of potash. That basically NPK, right? N, P, and K. After that, after that we have discussed the process how the subsidies are provided. The process how subsidies are provided by the government. For example, if you remember, I said in the context of the urea, in the context of urea, the government will provide subsidies basically on the cost of production. Government will decide what is the market price, that is the MRP at which you are supposed to sell, and right, whatever is the difference, whatever is basically the difference between the actual price that you wanted to sell and the price at which government of India has asked you to sell, that is provided by the government. Whereas on the other side, in the context of the diammonium phosphate as well as muriate of potash, the methodology that we are following is referred to as the nutrient based subsidy, NBS, nutrient based subsidy. In nutrient based subsidy, what do? We basically provide based on the consumption of nutrients, right? Consumption of nutrients, how much nutrients are consumed per kg, the nutrients prices are decided, government will provide, that is subsidy prices are decided, government will provide the amount of subsidy based on the consumption of nutrients. Then we basically saw how much subsidies are provided for agriculture sector, how much is imported, how much is produced, etc., etc. Okay, now let me continue from here. In case of diammonium phosphate and a muriate of potash, the government pays the subsidy based on the quantity used, that is nutrients that are used. Whereas in case of urea, the government will decide what is the retail price. Government will decide retail price. Sir, what about DAP and MOP? Does government decide retail price? No. Government will pay the subsidy based on which the private sector will decide what is the retail price. It will provide subsidy for the domestic producers. It will provide subsidy for the importers. And who is allowed to import urea in India? Please remember this. Remember the next point. In case of urea, the people, that is the companies who are allowed to import urea, is again decided by the government. I repeat, the companies which are allowed to import urea is again decided by the government itself. Right, that is agencies which are allowed to import urea are India Potash Limited, Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, National Fertilizers Limited, etc., are allowed to import urea into India. And whenever you control import, basically through agencies, this is called as canalization. I repeat, you're trying to decide who will import it, how much they will import it. This process is called as canalization. The movement of fertilizers is directed, the government will decide. Right? I believe we have discussed the term physical controls last week. government will decide how much of the fertilizers you'll be selling in which state. Some of the fertilizer government does decide it. So these are certain very important points in the context of, right, the urea as well as a DAP and MOP. Now, right, what are the issues in case of urea? What are the problems in case of urea? One, there is a lot of black marketing that is done for urea. Lot of black marketing is done. What do you mean by black marketing? It refers to an economic activity beyond permitted government methods. Sir, how urea or let's say how fertilizers are black marketed? I'll just show you a simple exercise here. Imagine this is the producer of fertilizer. The producer of fertilizer will sell these fertilizers. So, to begin with, I just want you to have a glimpse of the syllabus as well as what you strategy for. The producer of fertilizers will send these fertilizers, let's say, to the shop, and from the shop, these are supposed to be sold to the farmers. Now, this is the normal channel. All of you are okay with this? Please do let me know. Producer will give the fertilizer to the shop, and the shopkeeper is supposed to sell this fertilizer to the farmer. Now, what if the shopkeeper, rather than selling it to the farmer, will sell it to their friends, right? Or let's say there is one more shop, they will sell it to them. And from this shop, they will try to sell it to the farmers. Can I call this as black marketing? Black market in the sense, government is allowing this process. Government says, I'll give a very simple example. Government says, I am given the license. I am supposed to sell the fertilizer directly to the farmer. But what I will do, I will not sell all the fertilizer to the farmer directly. Right? Imagine you are my friend. I will give some of the fertilizer to you. You will sell it at a much higher price to the farmer. Can I call this as a black marketing? Please do let me know. Can I call this as a black marketing? Black marketing means what? Selling beyond permitted levels, using some other method to sell in the market, not the method which was recommended by government of India. Now you might ask me, sir, why are you doing it? What is the advantage? Why do you follow this process? Why not sell it directly to the farmer? If I sell it directly to the farmer, let's say I will get right 270, 280, whatever the price of the fertilizer is. Now, rather than me selling directly, what if I give it to my friend who is not supposed to sell? Who is not supposed to sell, but they will sell it to you at much higher prices. Have you seen all of this happening in the market? In case of certain medicines, etc., etc., right? Certain middlemen, stouts will be there who are not supposed to be selling all of them. They will sell it to you, but at a higher price, and you will end up buying from them because it is not available through the normal channels. It is not available through the normal government approved channels. Best example. During pandemic, have you heard of this particular drug, remdesivir? During pandemic, have you heard of this particular drug, remdesivir? It was black marketed. And the best example, all of you will relate to it. Have you heard of black ticketing? Black tickets, not through the counter, but somebody would purchase from the counter and sell it to you at a much higher price. And object is simple in this process. The object is to make more and more profits through illegal methods. So first one is black marketing. Black marketing is done, right, and this will create shortage for the farmers, and right, basically the middlemen will make a lot of revenue. Okay. Second, inefficient subsidies given to domestic manufacturers. Right, in case of domestic manufacturers, government will provide subsidies, for example, urea, based on the cost of production. But last week, sorry, not last week, last class, Monday, please tell me, between DAP, MOP subsidy and urea subsidy, don't you think, please recollect it, don't you think providing subsidy based on NBS is always better? Please participate. Providing, right, don't you think providing subsidies based on NBS is always a much better system compared to, right, a cost of production? So we need to shift from, right, the urea based subsidy to nutrient based subsidy. And finally, disparity in the usage. Disparity in the usage. Now, please have a look at this particular number here. And some of the students are asking, what is DAP? My dear, it's hardly been more than 48 hours since we have discussed all of it. Hardly been more than 48 hours. And you already have forgotten what is DAP, what is MOP, which basically shows that you are not revising. Okay. So what is the optimal usage ratio? The optimal usage ratio is 4:2:1. That is for 4 units of nitrogen, you're supposed to use 2 units of phosphorus and 1 unit of potassium. That is optimal usage, optimal usage. But in case of India, on one side, urea is given the highest subsidy. You remember that? Urea is given the highest subsidy, and urea in the market is somewhere available at a price of around 270 rupees per bag. But on the other hand, you can get diammonium phosphate and muriate of potash. The prices of a diammonium phosphate and muriate of potash is at least 1,000 rupees. I'll repeat the statement. In case of India, because of very high amount of subsidy, urea is available at around 270 rupees per bag. Whereas in the context of DAP and MOP, the bags are available in the market, including subsidy, at around 1,000 rupees. Now you tell me, the farmers will purchase which of the fertilizers in more quantities? Think of it. It should not be very difficult. Think of it. Right, 270 per bag and at least 1,000 rupee per bag. So don't you think farmers will purchase more and more of urea only? Correct. They will consume more and more of urea only. As a result of this, what will happen? We are supposed to use nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the ratio of 4:2:1. If you consume more of urea, can I say consumption of nitrogen will be very high? That is exactly what is given in the ratios here. Rather than having an optimal ratio of 4:2:1, and please remember, this is all over India, on an average. On an average, optimal means on an average. Because of all of this, right, the consumption of nitrogen, right, nitrogenous based fertilizers is very, very high. Now, what is the problem with consumption of more of nitrogen? Let me know. Have you heard of eutrophication? Let me know. Please, right, let me know. Again, it is you must have discussed in your college, in your high school. It will be covered again in ecology classes, but at least your high school knowledge you should be able to remember. The nitrogen pollution will be very high. The soil quality, right, the quality of the soil, right, will start falling down. Fertility of the soil will start falling down. Eutrophication will happen. Algal blooms will be created, etc., etc. So all of these are the problems associated with the more and more or very higher consumption of nitrogen. Right. So these are some of the issues related to fertilizer subsidies. Okay. Now, what are the reforms? What are the reforms? Let me start with one very simple reform. In context of fertilizer, generally whenever fertilizer bags are sold, right, in context of fertilizers, when fertilizer bags are sold, these are sold in a weightage of 50 kgs. These are generally sold in a weightage of 50 kgs. But remember this, for urea, a bag of urea is not actually 50 kgs. It is reduced to 45 kgs. In the context of urea, it is not 50, rather it is 45 kgs. Some of you might be thinking, what is the logic behind it? Why, rather than giving it 50 kgs, why we have reduced it to 45 kgs? There is a particular reason for it. Government of India found that many of the farmers go to the shop, purchase fertilizers in the context of bags. They'll go and ask for 5 bags, 4 bags, 3 bags of urea, right? 10 bags of urea. Now look at this. If a bag has 50 kgs urea, and if I go to a shop and purchase 10 bags, is it okay? It simply means I've purchased 500 kgs of urea. Whereas on the other side, if the weightage of the bag is reduced to 45 kgs, even now I'll go to the shop and simply purchase 10 bags of urea. Which means how many kgs of urea I've purchased now? I've purchased 450 kgs of urea. All of you okay with this? So without knowledge, without basically the farmer realizing the government of India, by changing the weightage of the fertilizers to a certain extent, has reduced the consumption of urea. Anybody has a problem with this? Without knowledge, right? Without realizing this, government has changed it, and the farmers are purchasing lower quantity of urea. So this is one method through which government is trying to rationalize, right? Rationalize consumption of urea. Second one is DBT in fertilizers. We'll discuss this in a minute. Just have some patience. We'll discuss. DBT simply stands for direct benefit transfer in fertilizers. And the third very important point is nano fertilizers now. Nano fertilizers. So please tell me, in the last 2 or 3 days, did you people come across nano fertilizers? Let me see. In the last 2 to 3 days, have you people come across the term nano fertilizers? Have you read something about nano fertilizers? Right? So nano fertilizer plant in Kalol, that is Gujarat. Yesterday's Business Line newspaper. There's an article on nano fertilizer. Government is promoting consumption of nano fertilizers, but some of the experts are saying we need to study. We need to study more about the impact of nano fertilizers, etc., etc. So nano fertilizer is very, very famous now. Let's try and understand that later. Now, what is this DBT? I said DBT basically stands for direct benefit transfer. I'll come back to this. Just give me a minute. DBT simply stands for direct benefit transfer, right? So remember this. What is DBT? DBT is an initiative of Government of India. This we have discussed last class also. Discussed in the sense I said certain points. Direct benefit transfer is an initiative. It's an initiative of Government of India, under which we have recognized, we have identified more than 300 schemes wherein either kind subsidies are provided as well as cash subsidies are provided. And under the direct benefit transfer initiative, what we are trying to do is very simple. We are trying to identify the beneficiary and ensure that only the right beneficiary will get the benefit. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. Under DBT, direct benefit transfer, what are we trying to do? We are trying to identify the beneficiary and ensure that the right beneficiary will get the benefit. Right? How they will do it? Any example? I've given you the examples. Do you remember example of National Food Security Act? Please tell me, Monday's class. Do you remember the example of National Food Security Act, where I said 5 kgs of food grains are provided, etc., etc. If I go to a ration shop today, do you think I will be getting 5 kgs of food grains? No. Government is identifying the beneficiaries, more than 81 crore people, and only those 81 crore people will be getting 5 kgs of food grains. How is that possible? How we are able to identify them? Government says, I will use a direct benefit transfer. The idea of a direct benefit transfer was introduced in 2013 with very less number of schemes. Some of the books will say 2013 and 14 financial year. Right, so with very few of the schemes we introduced it, but today more than 300 schemes have been identified under the direct benefit transfer. So either these are cash subsidies or kind subsidies will identify the beneficiary and ensure that the right beneficiary will get the benefit. That is called as a model of DBT. Now, I'll come back to this slide, don't worry. How we have implemented DBT in fertilizers, understand it. Earlier, without DBT, non-DBT structure, what used to happen? Follow the process here. Step 1, producer will produce fertilizers, manufacture fertilizers, right, send it to the shop. The shopkeeper used to sell the fertilizer to the beneficiaries, right, let's say to the farmers, and government used to provide the subsidies based on how much fertilizers have been sold in the market to the producer. Any problem? Any problem with the process here? I'll repeat the process. Follow the step numbers here. The producer, imagine I'm the producer. I will produce fertilizers, send it to the villages. And when these are sold in the villages to the farmers, right, basically I would be getting subsidy from the government of India. Now look at the process and please tell me, can government of India come to know and ensure that the farmers will get the fertilizers in non-DBT structure? Let me know. Look at the non-DBT structure. Can government of India, one, come to know who are the beneficiaries, and second, ensure that this fertilizer will reach only to the farmer? There is no way. There is no way to find out. Some of you are saying yes. No way. Why? What if I'm the shopkeeper, hypothetically? What if I'm the shopkeeper? Rather than selling it to the farmer, I will deviate, I will divert this to, let's say, an industry. Possibility is there or not? I will simply deviate it to a particular company, industry. Sir, why? Why will the industries use fertilizers? Please tell me, can I say fertilizer is nothing but chemicals? Let me know. Fertilizers is nothing but chemicals. All of you are okay? Nitrogen, right? Phosphorus, etc. Chemicals. And these kind of chemicals are used in many other industries as well. For example, what if it is an industry involved in making of explosives? What if it is industry involved in making of hazardous chemicals? So these kind of chemicals can be used in many other industries. So what is the guarantee that I will not deviate it to industry? Right? There is no guarantee. And in fact, to address this only, right? To address this only, earlier government of India had implemented a program called as the neem coating. Neem coating of urea. Remember this as well. Neem coating of urea. What is this neem coating of urea? Right? If you check in the Google how urea looks, urea is basically in the form of crystals. Right? I recommend that you check it. All of you see in the sugar crystals? Right? All of you see in the sugar crystals in the same way, right? In order to address that, there is no deviation done to the industries. Government basically introduced the concept of neem coating of urea. What is this neem coating of urea? Urea crystals will be coated with neem extract. Nothing. Urea crystals will have a coating of, right, let's say neem. And when you have neem coating of urea, it cannot be diverted to industries. It can be used only by the farmers because neem is an insecticide. So that is the precise reason neem coating was introduced by the government. But even then, you think of it. Even if neem coating is done, can government of India ensure this neem coated urea will not be black marketed under non-DBT? Think of it. Even if neem coating is done, let's say neem coating is done, the diversion would be addressed. You cannot divert it to, right, let's say industries. But even then, can government of India ensure no black marketing is done? There is no way to find out. Right? You cannot ensure that only farmers will purchase it. That is also not possible to find out. That is the precise reason government has proposed the model called as a DBT. That is the reason there is a process called as a DBT now. Right? There is a proposal. Some of the areas we are trying it out. What happens in DBT? Follow the steps here. Step 1, fertilizer will be produced. Step 2, fertilizer will be sold to the farmer. But now under DBT, the farmer will have to identify himself or herself. The farmer will have to identify himself or herself. How? Right? Can I provide my thumbprint and validate my identity using Aadhaar? Simple. Can I provide my thumbprint and validate? Validate means prove that I'm a beneficiary under, right, let's say this fertilizer subsidy? Of course, yes. So I will provide my thumbprint, validate my identity, and now a receipt is generated. The shopkeeper will have to generate a receipt saying that Mr. Sham Kangod, who is a farmer, has purchased so many bags of fertilizer. Now, after this, the subsidies are transferred by the government to the producer of fertilizer. So, in this DBT system, government is ensuring that there is a record of it. Please understand, there is a record, there is a transaction. Right, so government is ensuring that only the farmers will be able to get access to fertilizer subsidies. So this is how government is trying to ensure. This is how government is trying to ensure that right beneficiaries will be getting the right benefits. Done. Now, if I can do that, right? Let me know if I can do that. Can I say government will be able to reduce? Government will be able to reduce the subsidy burden. Fertilizer subsidy I'm talking about. If government will introduce the DBT model, right, can government of India reduce the subsidy burden? Of course, yes. And some of you are asking, sir, why is government of India not directly giving money to the farmer? Why not? Why not directly give it to the farmer? Why this, right, circus like this? Reason is very simple. Imagine you are a farmer. I will ask you to purchase 10 bags of urea, and let's say 600 rupees per bag. I will give you subsidies. 600 into 10 will be 6,000 rupees. So please tell me, as a farmer, please think of this as a farmer. What do you prefer? Purchasing, right, under DBT. Purchasing under DBT at 70 rupees per bag and government giving subsidy to the producer, or purchasing at 1,000 rupee per bag and after that receiving subsidies from the government. Think of it. Would you prefer purchasing the bag of right urea 270? You're not worried about subsidy. Government will give subsidy to the producer. Or else you'll pay 1,000 rupees today, and after that, let's say 15 days, 20 days, or 30 days, government will transfer the subsidy into your account. Don't you think this is much better? This is much better. Why? You're talking about a farmer. You're talking about a farmer. Farmer cannot pay the market price today and wait for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days to keep on receiving subsidies from the government. That's the reason government says, I will not transfer it to the account of the farmer. That takes a longer time period. Better we follow this method where I will provide subsidies to the company continuously I'll provide it. But only thing is that, right, we need to validate that the farmers are purchasing the fertilizers. Done. So this is basically the argument of a DBT. Farmer is supposed to identify using Aadhaar or Kisan credit card. Subsidy will be credited to the manufacturer. It is estimated that at least 20% of the subsidies can be saved by the government using this method. Very important. Government has been using it. Again, not at all India level. It will take time. But definitely, yes, this is a very important reform. Now, I've given you 4 reforms. One of the reform is nano fertilizer. We'll take it up when I take up agriculture. One of the reform is nano fertilizers. Very, very famous now. What is nano fertilizer, right? Why are we using? What is the advantage of nano? Are there any concerns? We'll discuss that when I take up agriculture sector applications. Now let me go to the next concept, direct benefit transfer. What is a direct benefit transfer? As earlier mentioned, it is an initiative of Government of India. It is an initiative of Government of India, right, which was introduced from 2013 in India, under which Government of India says we will identify the beneficiaries and ensure that benefits will reach the right beneficiaries. Now, what are the objectives? What are the reasons why we have introduced DBT? We'll be able to accurately identify and target the beneficiaries using this. There will be transparency in the fund transfers to the beneficiaries. Because the account, right, understand this, the accounts will be used, money will be transferred, right, to directly to the account. So don't you think, because there is no middleman in the system, there is a transparency in the system, how much beneficiary each of the beneficiary is going to receive. Curbing the leakages in the delivery process, no middleman is there, no, right, let's say, there are no, let's say, intermediaries in between. Hence, government can basically address the issue of leakages. Diversion will not take place. Creation of a greater accountability for the government. Government today, for example, let me see, in the last 2 to 3 days, have you people read the newspaper? The finance minister, right, had stated that because of a direct benefit transfers, right, I repeat, because of direct benefit transfers, government has been able to save more than 2 trillion rupees in the form of subsidies. If you have not read it, please read that article. It appeared in multiple newspapers, not just one, multiple newspapers. because of direct benefit transfer, Government of India itself says we have been able to save more than 2.7 trillion rupees in the form of subsidies. Next one, increase in the efficiency of the scheme and effectiveness of the scheme because of timely implementation will also be improved. All these points I've taken from this year's economic survey. I repeat, all of these points I've taken from this year's economic survey itself, so please be very careful. Now, what are the number of schemes which have been introduced, which have been covered under direct benefit transfer? Please have a look at it. 2013 and 14, we started with 28 schemes. By 22 and 23, there are 310 schemes. In fact, if you see the Government of India's website, right, there's a scheme, there is a website for DBT only. There's a website for DBT, direct benefit transfer only. Government of India's website says there are 312 schemes, 312. But in the economic survey, they have mentioned 310 schemes. Doesn't matter. You can write that there are more than 300 schemes which are covered under direct benefit transfer. And I said there can be schemes which are cash schemes, which are kind schemes as well, right? So in case of cash schemes, how much DBT, right? How much funds have been transferred under this? More than 1.7 lakh crore rupee. And here it is 2.08 lakh crore rupees in 22 and 23. And how many eligible beneficiaries are there? How many eligible beneficiaries? And before you start asking question on eligible beneficiary, please read the next term which is there in the bracket. Please read the term which is there in the bracket, because I know many of you will start thinking like this: 129 crore, 144 crore, 178 crore, 159 crore. But I read India's population is 130 crore. How is that possible? How is that possible that when population is 130 crore, number of beneficiaries are 170 crore? Can you read the term here? Non-unique. Non-unique means what? For example, a farmer, please do let me know, can a farmer be covered under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi as well as National Food Security Act? Let me know. Can I say the farmer, same farmer, can be covered under PM Kisan as well as NFSA? Can I call this farmer as a non-unique beneficiary? I will count it as a two beneficiary under two schemes. That is exactly what they have done. That is exactly what they have done. Non-unique beneficiaries. Non-unique means a beneficiary will be a beneficiary in multiple schemes. We will count all of them individually. That's the reason number is higher than population. Do not be worried about it. And there are certain people who are asking, how can the schemes reduce? My dear, please understand, over a period of time, can certain schemes be merged into only one scheme? Yes or no? Let me know. Right? Can multiple schemes be taken, merged into only one scheme? Possible. Can certain schemes be discontinued? Possible. So as a result of this, restructuring, discontinuation, mergers, etc., you will see number of schemes will keep on changing. Number of schemes will keep on changing from one year to next year. You do not worry about it. Okay, done? Right? So this is basically the concept of direct benefit transfer. Sir, any example of a merger of a scheme? My dear, last year, I'll take a very recent example. Have you heard of this scheme? Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Let me see. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, PMGKAY. Couple of years ago, it was introduced, that is in 2020. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana was implemented separately. National Food Security Act was implemented separately. So two schemes. Government of India has announced that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana will be merged with National Food Security Act. So can I say, right, last year, if you look at food subsidies, beneficiaries, there were beneficiaries in two different schemes. Now there will be beneficiaries under only one scheme. So merger, right, restructuring, discontinuation, etc., all of these will keep on happening. You do not worry about it. Okay. Now, next, in case of DBT, how do we implement a direct benefit transfer? How do we implement it? I'm pretty sure all of you heard of Jam Trinity. You might have not read it, but I'm pretty sure you might have heard of Jam Trinity. What is this Jam Trinity? Jam stands for Janadhan, Aadhaar and Mobile. Simple. It stands for Janadhan, Aadhaar and Mobile. Now what do we do? Right? How Jam Trinity is associated with the DBT? In case of the direct benefit transfer, there are multiple schemes wherein, let's say, cash subsidies are supposed to be provided. I repeat, cash subsidies are supposed to be provided. Now, how do we ensure that these schemes will be implemented? We use the concept of Jam Trinity. Now, look at the statement. Jam Trinity, can I say, will be used to implement DBT. All of you okay with this? I'll prove it. How? I'll prove it how. Just have patience. Can I say Jam Trinity will be used for implementation? It will enable the implementation of direct benefit transfer. Many of you are asking, sir, how DBT will be implemented through Jam? Let me show it to you. Imagine I'm a beneficiary. And government is supposed to provide a subsidy to me. Let's say 100 rupee or 500, doesn't matter. I'm supposed to receive certain subsidy. Step number one, government will use Aadhaar as a tool for authenticating me. Any problem with this? Step one, government will use Aadhaar to authenticate. Authenticate means government knows that I'm a beneficiary, right? And in the system, right, Aadhaar number will be linked to the scheme, which means when I provide my thumbprint, the system says I'm a beneficiary. So first one, yes, Aadhaar will be used to authenticate. Second, now let's say hypothetically two systems here. What if it is a cash subsidy? What if it is a kind subsidy? What if it is a cash subsidy? What if it is a kind subsidy? So in case of cash subsidy, in addition to Aadhaar, Government of India has asked me to open Janadhan Yojana account. Right, PM Janadhan Yojana account. Now please do let me know. 2 weeks ago, I had given you one article regarding Pradhan Mantri Janadhan Yojana account. Have you people read it? The number of Pradhan Mantri Janadhan accounts in case of India are going to cross more than 50 crore. Very, very nice article, very important article. Please read that if you are yet to read. So second will be Pradhan Mantri Janadhan Yojana accounts will be used to transfer the benefit into my account. Now, I can use my mobile connectivity, internet banking, mobile banking, etc. to utilize the funds which are there in my Janadhan Yojana accounts. So please tell me, right, because of three pillars, that is Janadhan, Aadhaar and mobile, because of these three pillars, they will call this as a Jam Trinity. Anybody has a problem with this system? Let me know. Does anybody have a problem with this system? Process is very simple. Right, I've given the same thing here also. Step number one, government will identify the beneficiary. And second, government will identify through what? Aadhaar. Now government will transfer the benefit into the bank account. And third one is the beneficiary will access the bank account using mobile banking, internet banking, etc. So Janadhan, Aadhaar and mobile. Now the question will be, sir, what if cash subsidy is not there? It is a kind of subsidy. Right? If it is a kind of subsidy, can I simply say mobile connectivity is not required? All of you are okay? Right? Let me know. If it is a kind of subsidy, mobile connectivity, internet is not required there. In that case, how it will work out? Simple. In case of kind of subsidy, for example, let's say NFSA, National Food Security Act. I will go to the ration shop, provide my authentication using Aadhaar. Provide my authentication using Aadhaar. I will provide my thumbprint. System will say I am a beneficiary, and whatever is the kind of subsidy will be provided to me. Whatever is the kind of subsidy, for example, 5 kgs of food grains. The 5 kgs of food grains will be provided to me. This is how, in case of kind, the direct benefit transfer will be used. Any problem with this? So DBT can be used to provide cash subsidies also as well as kind subsidies also. Right? So this is basically the model of direct benefit transfer. Now there is one concern which has been raised. One concern. I'll come back to this current affairs. One concern. Let's say cash subsidies are provided to me by the government. Simple example. Imagine government of India wants me to purchase, right? Let's say food grains. Cash subsidy is given to me. In fact, under innovation, I will discuss this later. Cash subsidy, we are trying it out. Or let's say under one more scheme, government is giving me 200 rupees. I am supposed to purchase certain medicines. Now please tell me, can government of India guarantee, I repeat, can government of India guarantee that I will use the subsidy for the right purposes?
What do you mean by this?
Think of it. Can government of India guarantee that I'm going to use the subsidy only for the right purpose? That is, imagine I've received 100 rupees to purchase food grain. Can government of India ensure I will use it only for food grain? No, they can't do that. Right? Why? Once the money is transferred into my account, for what purpose I will use it, government cannot keep a track of it. They cannot send, right, let's say one government official behind you to keep on checking what you will use the 100 rupees for. Not possible. In that case, what is the solution then? Now there is a latest innovative tool that has been introduced by the government of India through RBI, e-rupee system. E-rupee system, very famous now. Please understand this very carefully. And point number one, when I'm talking about e-rupee here, I'm basically talking about a digital voucher. I'm talking about a digital voucher. What is this digital voucher? What is the use of it? You'll understand. Do not be confused with e-rupee, right? That is this rupee. Do not get confused with this rupee. This electronic rupee is central board digital currency. This e-rupee is different. This e-rupee is different. I hope you understand this. This is a central bank digital currency. RBI, for example, I'm pretty sure most of you might have received this message now. RBI has proposed a new system of issuing currency that is called as e-rupee. What is this e-rupee? RBI rather than printing money, simple. RBI rather than printing money, they will give you digital currencies. Anybody has a problem? I'm talking about this one. I repeat, I'm talking about this one, right? This e-rupee, right? That is, I'll use the red marker now. I'm talking about this e-rupee. RBI rather than printing currency will give you money directly into your wallet in the digital form. Not in the physical form, in the digital form. Sir, how can I use it? Very simple. Right? I'm pretty sure most of you have received an invite from your bank because RBI is telling the banks, promote it. Most of the banks are providing this facility. You'll have to open a wallet with your bank. Right? Your bank will allow you to open a wallet. For example, you might have heard of Paytm wallet, similar concept. So you will open a wallet for digital currency and you can convert your bank account money into digital money, that is e-rupee. Now, if I want to transfer this money to you, you'll also have to have a wallet. I will transfer from one wallet to another wallet. That's it. Just like Paytm. I'm pretty sure all of you use Paytm, but in case of Paytm, you will transfer money from your bank account into Paytm wallet. That is not digital rupee. Right, but here instead of printing 100 rupee and giving it to you, they will transfer the 100 rupee into your wallet. That e-rupee is different. This e-rupee is different. Don't be confused. Okay, don't be confused. So come back to this e-rupee. It's a digital voucher. It's a digital voucher. What do you mean by digital voucher? Let me give a very simple example. Very simple example. Imagine you went to a shopping mall, you purchased 10,000 rupee worth of something, and the mall gave you a voucher. And they say, sir, the value of the voucher is 5,000 rupee. You can use it to purchase only food from our mall. Now please do let me know. Can you use this voucher which was issued by Mall 1 in any other mall?
Of course, yes.
Let me know. Please think of it. Right? If it was issued by Mall 1, can you use it in anywhere else? Of course, no. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand. Let's say you will use Paytm for conducting transaction, they will give you a
receive
coupon.
salary.
They will give you a
Early
voucher.
morning, you'll get a message.
Can you take that
your mobile
voucher
saying that
and use
your
it in,
account has
let's say,
been
phone pay?
credited with a salary of so
That will
much.
not be allowed. You
I'm
can
very
use
happy.
it only in
And
that
on the
Paytm
first of
wallet.
that day,
So
right, or
again,
let's say on the
argument
first of
is
that
the
month, or
voucher
second
you
of
can
that
use it
month,
only
third
in
of
that
this
mall.
month, or even
Second,
fifth of
can you
this
use
month,
that
or
voucher
next
which was
month,
given for food?
you'll behave as
A
if you are
coupon that
Mr.
was given
Mukesh
for
Ambani.
food for you, can you use it to
Behave
purchase
as if you are
clothes?
Mr. Mukesh Ambani.
Think
Right?
of it. Can you use it to purchase
Feeling
clothes?
very sad.
No, you
don't
can't
want
use
to
it. You
prepare
will have to
food.
use it only
Let's go
for
outside. Let's
purchasing
eat
food.
outside.
Now come back to the
Guys,
same
you
logic.
don't feel
Use the
like
same
sitting
logic
and studying for
where
UPSC.
government will give you a
Open
coupon
timer is there.
and government says
is
the
there.
value of
Let's
coupon
go
is
to
100
IMAX.
rupee. You will
Not
have
even
to use
normal
it to
theater.
purchase
Let's
only
go to
food
IMAX.
grains in the market.
Right, and you're feeling
Government
like
says, I
traveling.
will give you a
Let's go
coupon,
Ola.
value is let's say 1 lakh
But
rupees. You
very
will have
soon
to
you will
use
realize,
it
very
to get
soon you will
surgery
realize
done from
it
the
is not
hospital.
sustainable.
Government will
Right,
give you a
because
coupon of
whenever
10,000
you keep
rupees.
on swiping
You
the
will have
card,
to use
right,
it,
using
right,
the
to
UPI
purchase
make
medicines
payment,
only.
very soon you will realize
Right, so these
the amount
are
of money that
basically
you
the
have in your
concept
account
of
is getting
e-rupee. These are
depleted very
vouchers.
fast.
Simple,
Money
these
is
are
getting old very
vouchers.
fast.
But
It took
please
a 1
understand,
month
these
time
coupons or
period for money
vouchers
to
are
come
not
into your
issued in
account.
physical
It will
form.
take 5
These
days
are
to
issued
become
in
half of it.
digital versions.
Suddenly you
Simple
will
idea.
realize
Okay, these are
no,
not issued in
not
physical,
sustainable.
but rather these
Now
are
you
issued
become
in
economics.
digital form.
How
How it will be used?
to
Let's
look at the
understand it.
amount of salary or
The
the amount
concept
of
of
money that
e-rupee
is
has
left
been
out in the
developed by
account.
NPCI,
Now you will start making
National Payment
calculations.
Corporation of India.
Can I keep
Along with
working food on
NPCI, there
IMAX?
was a Department
Not
of
possible.
Financial Services.
Right, next
Right,
week I will
Department of
not go
Financial
to
Services
IMAX.
is part of
Even
Ministry
if
of
I go to
Finance.
theater,
It is part
no
of
popcorn entry.
Ministry of Finance.
Although the PDR has
Ministry of
reduced the
Health and
popcorn
Family
prices,
Welfare,
I
that was
don't
also
want to
part of
purchase
it.
popcorn. I will come
NHM,
and
National
eat
Health
2
Mission,
minutes
that was
Maggi
also
and
part of
eat
it.
it in the home.
Those
And
are asking
please,
questions
rather
how to
paying
use it,
200
etc.,
rupees,
etc. Hold on to that. I have
right,
not yet
rather than
completed
traveling
e-rupee.
via
Have
Ola,
patience.
right, rather than
It
taking
is a
Uber or
cashless,
cab, now I want to
contactless,
travel by metro.
person specific,
Please tell me
purpose
what are you
specific
doing here?
voucher.
I told you,
How?
Jimmy. Now
Have
you
patience. I'll
you
explain.
realize
Have
that
patience.
resources
Now,
that you have
it is
are
an electronic
limited.
voucher based
And now you
digital
want to use
payment
the
system.
resources for achieving
How it will
certain
work out?
outcomes.
Let me show it now.
That is achieving
How it will
certain
work out? Please follow the process
This is
carefully. We'll go
basically
step by
the
step.
concept of
Follow
economics.
the process.
You are an
Imagine
economist, you will follow
government
this.
wants me to
I'm an
provide
economist,
1,000
your
rupee
parents are economists.
subsidy of
But
1,000
at
rupee,
one or the other
and
point
they
of
want
time,
me to
you could
use
have
it
done this
for
calculation.
purchasing only the
Right,
food
for
grain,
example,
or
UPSC
let's say
aspirant.
only to purchase medicines.
Most of the times,
Simple.
UPSC aspirant
Government
uses this
wants me to
concept
give
of economics
1,000
this way.
rupee
You
subsidy,
go to the market,
and they
want
want
to
me to
purchase
use
a
it
book
only for
related to, right,
purchasing,
let's say UPSC
right,
preparation
medicines
only.
from the shop.
You will
Right
turn the
now,
book,
what is the
check
process?
the price
Follow
tag
this.
of the book.
Here,
700
government
rupees.
will be referred to as a
800
sponsor.
rupees. 900
Government
rupees.
will be referred to
You will
as
become true
sponsor,
economist at that
sponsor
point.
of the services.
What?
Step number
You
one,
set the price of the book,
government will
900.
take my
Then
mobile
you
number,
start making
name of the
calculations in your
beneficiary
mind.
along with the mobile number,
Can I get
approach a
a
bank,
Xerox copy of
and
this book in the
deposit
market?
1,000 rupees.
If I can get
Deposit
Xerox copy,
1,000
right,
rupee
let's
into
say
the bank.
500 pages, hardly I'll
Now,
get 150
the
rupees
bank
for
will
the
use my
Xerox
mobile
version
number
in the market.
and send
Some of you
a
will take it to the
QR
next
code to
level.
my mobile number.
You will search,
Bank will send a
can I get
QR code
PDF
to my
copy of this
mobile number.
free of cost? Free
Now, some of you will
download
simply say,
online.
sir, if QR code
I
is
will not
sent,
have to
it
do
will work
anything.
out only if it is a
And tell me,
smartphone.
what are you doing?
What if I have a
No, the
normal
resource
phone?
that you people
Right?
have,
Not the smartphone, the
limited.
normal one.
You're trying to
In that case, government
utilize,
says
right?
we will send you
Trying to utilize the
SMS.
resources to
Right?
achieve
We'll send
certain
you
outcomes.
SMS.
That is ending.
Right? And now
Any
you will
problem with
take
the
this
definition?
QR code,
Any problem with the
approach
definition?
the service
It's
provider.
the science which
Now, can I
deals with
simply say
human
service
beings.
provider? It will be nothing
Relation
but
to space means.
medicine shop.
Space means are nothing but
All of
space.
you okay with this? In this
Space
example, the service provider will be nothing
Space
but
is
a medical shop.
limited. So
I will
the
go to the
resources
medical
are
shop.
limited.
I will
You want to
provide,
use them
submit the
to
QR
achieve
code.
objectives.
Now,
That's
the
end.
medical shop
That is the
owner
definition
will
of
scan the
economics.
QR code.
Beyond that, do
They'll
not
simply
buy
scan the QR
Then
code.
UPSC is
I
not
will
going to
receive
ask you
OTP.
5 definition of economics.
I will simply receive OTP.
And please do let me
I
know.
will provide
To let me
OTP
know
to the
if
medical
anywhere
shop
in the
owner.
past, in the last 30
Now,
years,
after
let's
they
go
will they enter the OTP, they will provide medicine to me. They'll simply come to know, okay, this is 1,000 rupee for medicine purposes. They will provide medicines to me. Now, after this, the service provider will submit the proof to the bank saying that, okay, see, I've given the medicines of 1,000 rupee to the beneficiary here, and the bank, which already has 1,000 rupee from the government, will transfer the fund to the service provider. Right? These are the steps which is supposed to be followed under the e-rupee. Now, question number 1, please think of it and tell me, does beneficiary require a bank account in this system? I repeat, does beneficiary require a bank account in this system? Are Baba, listen to me. Some of you are not listening. Does beneficiary, who is the beneficiary? Here is the beneficiary. Right? Why is the requirement there? Some of you are saying yes. Where is the requirement? Please do let me know. Beneficiary doesn't require any bank account, my dear. Right? You don't need to have any bank account. Why? Bank will send a QR code to you. You will go to the service provider, show the QR code. Why do you need, right, a bank account? So there is no need of a bank account. So can I say one of the biggest problems in DBT? One of the biggest problems in DBT was having bank account of the beneficiaries. Because if the bank account is there, only then cash subsidies were supposed to be transferred into the bank account. And even if the bank account is there, please do let me know. Do you think every village in India has a banking branch? This should be pretty clear to all of you now. Do you think every village has a banking branch? Of course, no. Right? Don't you think accessibility becomes a problem for them? Accessibility becomes a problem for them. Getting access to their bank account becomes a problem. So that is the reason. Point number 1, beneficiaries don't require any bank account. Point number 2, if the QR code is for purchasing medicines, can you use it for anything else? Think of it. If the QR code is for purchasing medicines, can you use it for anything else? No. You'll have to purchase only medicines. Point number 3. Can the beneficiary be targeted, identified, and ensure that only this beneficiary will get QR code? Of course, yes. Right? Can we target the beneficiary? Of course, yes. And point number 4, the beneficiary or the service provider in this system, do you think they are running behind government officials for the release of funds? Think of it. In this process, do you think they are taking their documents, going to government officials and saying, sir, I'm supposed to get this 1,000 rupee, please release it, etc., etc.? No. Right? Now look at the 4 terms. Now please look at the 4 terms. Is it a cashless system? Cashless means, am I getting a cash of 1,000 rupee as a beneficiary? Think of it. Am I getting as a beneficiary? My dear, listen. As a beneficiary, am I getting a cash of 1,000 rupee? No. Right? I'm not getting cash subsidy of 1,000. I'm getting a QR code worth 1,000 rupee. Cashless. Is it contactless? Am I running behind government officials? Is the service provider running behind government officials? No. Amount is already there in the bank account. Service provider will submit the proof and they will get the funds. Is it person specific? Is it person specific? Can the codes be used for specific people only, beneficiaries? Yes. Is it purpose specific? Can we use a QR code only for purchasing of food grains? Can we use QR code only for medicines, etc., etc.? Yes. All of these are the features of e-rupee. All of these are the features of e-rupee system. Mobile phone numbers of the beneficiary will be utilized. Who are the 4 participants in the whole system? It could be government or the private sector as a service sponsor. In fact, government says e-rupee can be used by the private sector also. I repeat, e-rupee can be used by the private sector also. How? I'll give you one example. Just give me a minute. Service provider is that. It could be a school. Service provider could be a shopkeeper, medical store owner. It could be a hospital. It could be a school. It could be anything where subsidies are provided by the government. Bank is there as well as beneficiaries are there. These are the 4 stakeholders under the concept of e-rupee system. Now, how can this be used by the private sector? How can this be used by the private sector? Right, the private sector, imagine, I am the owner of a company, I am an employee. Right, you are the owner of a company, you own a company now. At 650, congratulations, you are an entrepreneur, businessman, and I'm working in your company. You want to provide money to me so that I will get vaccination done. Was this used by many private sector companies? Let me know. That is vaccination concept. You want, right, me to get vaccinated because I'm an employee, but you want to ensure that whatever subsidy you give to me, let's say 750 or 700 rupees, you want me to ensure that I will get vaccination. But how do you ensure that? How do you ensure that? Let's start. Imagine this is a private sector company. Imagine this is a private sector company. Now, they will take that 700 rupee vaccination amount, they will take the 700 rupee, deposit that amount in the bank. Now the bank has my details, they will send the QR code to me. I will take the QR code, go to the hospital will scan the QR code, I will get an OTP, I will give the OTP to the hospital, the transaction is completed, now they will give me vaccination. They will submit the proof to the bank and bank will transfer the 700 rupees into the account of hospital. All of you okay with this? Can we use this model even for providing certain assistance in private sector now? Right, of course, yes. All of this is possible. All of this is possible. In fact, government says private sector can utilize this system. Done. So these are certain very important things regarding e-rupee. Please remember. Are there concerns regarding this? Of course, yes. Right, some of you are saying, but sir this, but sir that, but this, but that. Yes, there are concerns. But please tell me, is it better than whatever system we have in today? Is it an improvement or not? Right? Will there be any problems? Will there be concerns? Of course, yes. You cannot simply say the system is 100% foolproof. If you say that, I will give you example of PM, right? Jan Aushadhi Yojana. Right? Are you people reading about it? PMJAY. Right? CAG has found a lot of loopholes, lot of problems with implementation of PMJAY. Couple of months ago, right, there was also a problem regarding Manrega subsidies. Right, so there are certain loopholes. Your argument should be it is better than the current system, and whatever concerns are there, we'll try to plug the loopholes. That should be your argument. Don't say, but sir, everybody should have the knowledge of smartphone. Of course, yes. But tell me, what do you think is better? Expecting a person to go to a bank, bring the money, use it for any purpose, or expecting a person to know about usage of a QR code, get the benefit. Right, so I hope you understand. It is an improvement over the current system. I'm not saying it is a perfect system. I'm not saying it is a perfect system. I'm saying it is an improvement over the current system. So e-rupee, what are the benefits or advantages? No need for a bank account for the beneficiary. Ensure the money is used for the right purposes. Privacy of the beneficiary is protected because the beneficiary did not disclose their information. They can simply go to the hospital, show the QR code. Hospital has to provide the services. They should not ask for this ID, that ID, etc., etc. That is not required. The voucher redemption can be tracked by the issuer. If government has issued 100 vouchers, they can keep a track. Right, out of 100 vouchers, how many vouchers have been issued, how many have been used, where they have been used, etc., etc. They can keep a track of it. Okay. Voucher has a verification code, that is OTP. You will get the OTP as a beneficiary. Only then they will provide the services. Can be used by the private sector, will promote a financial inclusion and promote the idea of digital economy. Right? So these are some of the advantages of e-rupee. But having said so, are there any concerns? Are there any problems? Of course, yes. There will be certain concerns. Point number one, we are assuming that all the beneficiaries will have a smartphone or will have a phone number. Right? So there could be certain concern regarding that. There are many people in India who will have multiple phones, 2 phones or 3 phones. And there are also many people who do not have any phone. Forget about smartphone. Who do not have any phone. So there is a concern regarding that. And second one is, what if I get a medicine, I will use it for myself. What is a guarantee? I hope you understand this. Government can ensure that you will purchase medicines. Under this, government cannot ensure that you will take your medicines. All of you are okay with this? Let me know. Right? Imagine I'm supposed to get 10 kgs of food grains. Government will issue a voucher. I will go to the shop, purchase the food grains. Now, can government ensure that I will eat the food grain? That is not possible, no? If government will start doing that, then you will simply say this is not democracy. How can government come into my home and check what I'm eating? Right? So I hope you understand the logic behind that. So government can simply ensure that you can get the benefit, but government cannot literally ensure that you'll start using the benefit. Right? So that is one more point. Third one, no guarantees regarding service delivery. Right? I'll talk about third and fourth. Please understand this. No guarantee regarding service delivery, and it does not address other supply side issues. What do you mean by this? Imagine I've received a voucher. I'm supposed to purchase let's say medicines. I'll go to the medical shop. Any guarantee that the medicines will be available in the medical shop? Think of it. Any guarantee that medicines are available in the medical shop? No guarantee. It's a supply side. Government is ensuring you will get 1,000 rupees, but government cannot ensure that all the time medicines will be available in the shop. Right? So that is a supply side problems. If there are supply side problems, right, the e-rupee system will not be effectively functioning. And what about the quality of services? Imagine you're supposed to get, right, eye checkup done. You're supposed to get a surgery done. Can Government of India guarantee the quality of service provided by the service provider? Let me know. Can Government of India guarantee the quality of services? No. Government can India simply guarantee, right, basically you will get the money. Government will guarantee that you will get the voucher of 10,000. Government will guarantee that you will get a voucher of 1 lakh. But government cannot literally come and start guaranteeing to you what is the quality of the service by the service provider. That kind of a quality guarantee, it is not provided under e-rupee system. Next, underline the term earlier. Please underline the term earlier. Earlier, there was a limit on the usage of voucher. This is not a problem today. That's the reason I've written earlier. Earlier, there was a limit on the usage of voucher. For example, imagine a voucher has been issued to you. Earlier, you were allowed to use it only once. I'll repeat. Earlier, you were allowed to use it only once. After you used it once, it becomes useless. Now, please tell me, think of this and please do let me know. Imagine government has given me 5,000 rupees. Okay, they have given me 5,000 rupees to provide food grains to my household. To provide food grains to my household for this whole month. Tell me what makes more sense to you. I will use the voucher only once, then it becomes useless, or else today, let's assume starting of the month, I will purchase some food grains. After 10 days, based on the requirement, again I will use the voucher for remaining amount to purchase some other food grains. After 20th, based on the requirement, again based on the consumption, I will use the same voucher, purchase for the remaining amount of food grains. Don't you think in the second system, I have more flexibility? I hope you understand. In the second system, I have more flexibility. That is based on the consumption requirement of the house. Based on the consumption requirement, I can use the voucher to purchase multiple times. But earlier, it was used only once. Right? Only once. Right? So that is the reason this constraint has been addressed now. This concern has been addressed now. Second, imagine I'm a beneficiary under NFSA. Imagine I'm a beneficiary under NFSA. I'm also beneficiary under PM Kisan. I'm beneficiary under multiple schemes. What if total amount of subsidy that I'm supposed to receive from the government will be more than 50,000 rupees? I hope you understand. What if the total amount of subsidy that I'm supposed to receive from the government, cash subsidy, is more than 50,000 rupees, more than 20,000 rupees? Problem was earlier the maximum limit of a voucher, maximum value of a voucher was 10,000. So if I'm beneficiary under multiple schemes, multiple vouchers were supposed to be issued to me. Rather than this, what if I increase the maximum limit of the voucher? Now, if even I'm supposed to get 50,000 subsidy, only one voucher will be given to me. Even if I'm supposed to receive 20,000 rupees subsidy, only one voucher. Even if I'm supposed to receive 70,000 rupees subsidy, only one voucher will be given to me. So don't you think issuing only one voucher with higher value is better than issuing multiple vouchers of a smaller value? So that also has been done now. Earlier, we were not allowed to use vouchers multiple times. We can use it multiple times now. Sir, how many times? Many of you ask me, sir, how many times? Answer is, as long as money is there in the voucher, you can keep on using it. I'll repeat, as long as money is there in the voucher, you can keep on using the voucher. Right? And the maximum value of the voucher now has been increased from 10,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. So earlier, minimum value, right, or a lower value as well as a usage only ones was a concern. Now we have addressed it. We already have addressed it. Done? Right? So these are certain very important points regarding the concept of e-rupee. Right? There were a couple of students who asked, sir, these concepts are not there in the book. These are current affairs. You will not get it in the book. It is purely from the current affairs. Can we go forward now? How third point in advantage? My dear, if you are a beneficiary, privacy, is it not a benefit for you? Think of it. Any kind of a scheme, any kind of a right initiative, etc. Would you want to protect your privacy or not? You want to protect your privacy. And of course, yes, privacy is a very important right for you. So government says, I will give you a QR code. Go to a shop, purchase medicines. Do not disclose your information. I will give you a QR code. You are supposed to get a surgery done. And I hope all of you understand this. Many of the times, health issues are taboo subjects in India. I hope you understand my point. Many of the times, health issues are treated as a taboo subjects in India. So that's the reason you do not have to disclose your identity. You don't have to disclose who you are, from where you have come, etc., etc. Simply show the QR code, get the service done. What is meaning of voucher? Voucher is nothing but coupon. Voucher is nothing but coupon concept. Okay. Sir, if the beneficiary doesn't have a bank account, then which two bank account beneficiary would approach? My dear, you don't require a bank account. Government says you don't require a bank account. That's the beauty of this concept. Right? No requirement of a bank account. You can simply get the voucher directly. You don't require a bank account. Okay, now let me come to the next concept. Very important. Lot of current affairs I'll discuss here. Listen to this carefully. The connection between agriculture subsidies as well as a WTO. Right? Connection between WTO and agriculture subsidies. Let's start. Point number one. There is an agreement under agriculture, right? Under WTO. For agriculture sector, there is an agreement on agriculture. And agreement on agriculture, basically, there are three very important points, three important pillars. Three very important points or three very important pillars under agreement on agriculture. What are these? First one is market access. Second one is export subsidies. Third one is a domestic support. Listen to me very carefully now. Market access, export subsidies, domestic support. Now let's start. India will send exports. India will export goods or services to, let's say, USA. I'll ask a question now. Listen to me very carefully. India will export goods and services to USA. Now, please tell me, if USA will eliminate non-tariff barriers, I'll repeat the statement. If USA will reduce the non-tariff barriers, can I say market access for India is increasing? Think of it. Very simple idea. If USA will reduce and eliminate non-tariff barriers, can I say for exports from India, there is more market access in USA. That is the whole argument here. Please look at the point number one. Look at the point number one. Right? If the countries will eliminate non-tariff barriers, for the exports, there will be more market access provided. Second one, export subsidies. Let me know, we have discussed this. Should government of India provide export subsidies? Should government of USA provide export subsidies? Should government of Germany, UK, Japan, etc. provide export subsidies? No, do not provide export subsidies. Why? Reduce the export subsidies so that international trade will become more competitive. Otherwise, think of it. If government of USA will keep on providing export subsidies, do you think from many of the countries, exports will go to USA or they will start importing from USA? They will end up importing more and more from USA. If Chinese government will end up providing more subsidies to the manufacturers, don't you think the Chinese exporters will become much more competitive in the international market? So that's the reason, as much as possible, reduce and eliminate your export subsidies. That's the second pillar. Come to the third pillar, very, very important. Domestic support. Domestic support basically refers to reducing the amount of subsidies that you're providing for production in the domestic market. I'll repeat the statement, and all of them are associated with agriculture sector. All of them are associated with agriculture sector. What is the third one? Domestic support. Reduce the amount of subsidies that you're providing to the agriculture sector. Now, why, how, etc. Let's try and understand. Now, there's a concept called as a traffic light approach. Let me discuss all these individually. Listen to me very carefully. Please listen to me very carefully. Now, imagine there is a country A and country B. Okay, imagine there are two countries, country A and country B. And let's say, again, don't say, sir, why rupees, why not dollars, why this, that. Do not complicate it. Keep it simple. You need to understand the concept. Now, let's say the farmers will cultivate same crop in both the countries. You will require seeds, you will require irrigation, that is water, electricity, etc. You require fertilizers. Third one is you require fertilizers. Now let's start. Let's imagine country A, seeds are costing 10 rupee. Irrigation is let's say rather than 20, let's say it is 8 rupees, and fertilizer is let's say 12 rupees. I'll take simple numbers, understand the concept. Okay, 10 rupee, 8 rupee and 12 rupee. Can I say the cost of cultivation, considering the inputs, cost of cultivation in country A will be 30 rupees. Now, same crop in country B, seeds will cost let's say 12 rupee, irrigation will cost let's say 10 rupee, and fertilizers let's say will cost 18 rupees. Fertilizer will cost 18 rupees. For the same crop to be cultivated in country B, how much is the cost now? 40 rupees. All of you are okay with the calculation? Right? So, one country 30, second country 40. Now, please tell me, because of this, can I say exports will take place from country A to country B? All of you okay? Exports, agriculture exports will take from country A to country B. Move from A to B. But what if I say, rather than this happening, what if I say government of country B, the government in country B will provide a lot of subsidies. The government in country B will provide lot of subsidies. Seeds are available at 5 rupees. Seeds are available at 5 rupees. Irrigation is available at 0 rupees. States will provide free of a cost electricity to agriculture sector. Fertilizers, let's say, are available at 12 rupees. Again, because of government subsidy. Now, as a result of this, what will happen to cost of cultivation in country B now? Cost of cultivation will come down to 70. Now tell me, rather than country B importing, don't you think country B will start exporting to country A?
The money on the machine is an expenditure.
Yes or no?
But for somebody else,
rather than importing, don't you think country B will start exporting to country A? And imagine you're the president of country A, will you be happy with the policy of country B? Think of it. Imagine you're the president of country B. Prime Minister, country A, not B, country A. Prime Minister, President, Premier, whatever you want to call it as. Will you accept the subsidies given by country B here? Will you happily accept all these? You will not accept it. Right? You might simply say, sir, but I can also give. My dear, do you think all the country will have the same potential to provide so much amount of subsidies?
What about land?
Think of it. Do you think all the countries will have the potential to provide so much amount of subsidies? No, they will not have the potential. But argument is not whether you have potential. Argument is whether it is fair for the country B to provide so much subsidies. I hope you understand the argument here. Argument is not about your potential capacity to pay subsidies. It is whether it is fair, for the country B to provide so much amount of subsidies. These are unfair. Can I say, think of this? Because of the subsidies given by country B for agriculture sector, it is distorting the international trade. All of you okay? It is a distorting. Distorting means it is a disturbing. It is creating disturbances in the international trade. So this is basically the concept of trade distorting subsidies. Can I call this as trade distorting subsidies? All of you okay? Trade distorting subsidies. Now, why this is important? Come back to the next point. Come to the next point. Whenever you talk about domestic support, we follow a concept called as a traffic light approach. What is a traffic light approach? We take the subsidies that are given by the government to agriculture sector and we divide them under 3 heads. I'll repeat the statement. We take the subsidies given by the government to agriculture sector and we divide them under 3 heads. And the names that we use are basically the traffic light itself. For example, please do let me know. Have you seen these lights in the traffic light? Colored lights in the traffic light. One is a red, second one is a amber, and the third one is basically the green one. Correct? All of you seen the traffic lights or not? Anybody in the classroom who says, sir, ये traffic light क्या होता है? What is this traffic light? I've never seen it. If you have not seen it, go to Google, type traffic light, you will see the 3 colors. So these are the 3 colors: red, amber, and green. Now please tell me, whenever there's a green light, right, you are traveling on a road, you see a green light, what does it indicate? Right, does it not mean you are allowed to pass? You don't have to stop, you don't have to slow, please move now, go, right, don't stop. So that is the meaning of the term green light. What about amber light? Amber light simply means slow down. Amber light simply means slow down. Green is go, pass. Amber means please slow down. But for most of us, including me, right, we will go much faster when there is amber light. Right, it means we know that next is red. We know that from green it has shifted to amber. Now it will become red. Before it becomes red, dash, Fast and Furious Part 11. Right now you will start shooting. Right, so amber means slow down. But in case of red box, stop. What is the meaning of red? Red means stop. Right, now apply the same logic. Apply the same logic, right? Again, I'm not discussed it, but let me know. Can I say, think of it, can I say any subsidy which there is no restriction, which there is no condition, which government doesn't have to reduce, these are called as green box subsidies. Think of it now. Use the green color, green concept, use it now. Can I say there are subsidies which government doesn't have to reduce? They don't have to slow down. They don't have to stop. They can continuously give these kind of subsidies without any restriction. Can I call them as green box subsidies? Anybody has a problem? These are called as green box. Now please tell me, having looked at all this example, do you think trade distorting subsidies will be classified as green box subsidies? What does your mind say? What does your mind say? Do you think trade distorting subsidies, do you think they should be classified as green box? No. Right? Non-trade distorting. Come to the definition now. What are green box subsidies? Green box subsidies create negligible or no distortion at all. These create a negligible or no distortion at all. That is the precise reason these are called as green box subsidies. Second, because these are not going to create any distortion or least negligible distortion, there is no limit on these subsidies. You can give any amount of subsidies under green box. And any example of this? The direct income support that is given by the government to farmers. Can I give you a current affairs example? PM Kisan scheme. All of you heard of it? PM Kisan scheme. Government says that it is an income support. It is an income support. You can use the PM Kisan 6,000 rupee for any purpose that you want. It's an income support. Expenditure on warehousing, expenditure on pest management, etc. These kind of subsidies do not create any distortion. Even if they create, it's negligible. Hence, there are no restriction, there are no limits on it. Second, amber box subsidy. Go back to amber box color. Go back to amber color. What does amber color indicate to you? Amber color indicates that I have to slow down. I will have to reduce my speed. I will have to slow down. Now, what will happen in amber box? All those subsidies which are trade distorting. For example, look at this picture and tell me. The subsidies given by the government in this example for fertilizer, for irrigation, can I say these are trade distorting? Let me know. In this example, the subsidy that is given by the government of country B for fertilizer, for electricity, etc., are these not trade distorting? Yes. So can you continuously provide unaccounted or let's say unlimited amount of these kind of subsidies? No, you will not provide it. That is the precise reason these are kept under amber box. These are trade distorting, and because they distort trade, there will be limits imposed on it. How much limits? How much should we provide? Right? What should be the amount, etc. That is, remember this, there is one more term called as a de minimis level. How much is the limit? Because we have to impose limit. So how much is the limit? Right? There is a term called as a de minimis level. What is this de minimis level? It will limit the amount of trade distorting subsidies. Right? It will limit the amount of trade distorting subsidies to 10% of value of production for a developing country to 5% of value of production for a developed country. I'll repeat it. Then I'll give you example. Although how it is calculated, it is very complicated. I'll repeat the statement. Although I will give you an example, but that is not how exact calculation is done. How exactly the calculation is done, you do not have to be worried. You don't have to become an expert for optional paper here. Right? So argument is simple. For a developing country, it should be up to 10% of value of production. For developed countries, it should be 5% of value of production. So what do you mean by this? Let's take a simple example. And again, I repeat, Many of you start asking me, don't ask, not needed. How the calculation is exactly done under WTO, there is a lot of dispute regarding the calculation. Why? India has one methodology to calculate the subsidies. USA has a different methodology to calculate subsidies. And that is the reason if you're reading newspapers, you will come across one argument. Government of India says we have not crossed the de minimis level. Government of India says we have not crossed for many years. Government of USA alleges that every year Government of India crosses the de minimis level. Why? There is no uniformity in the methodology of calculation. There is no uniformity. India does not agree how USA calculates, and USA does not agree how India calculates. That's the reason. But let me take a very simple example. Imagine I've cultivated rice. Imagine I've cultivated rice. And the value of rice this year, I'll take a simple number here, let's say is 100 crore rupees. Total value of rice is how much? 100 crore rupees. And the next point, India is a developing country. All of you know this? India is a developing country. So for a developing country, what is the maximum value of trade distorting subsidies that you are supposed to provide? Maximum value of this is 10%. So in a year, if your value of production is 100 crore, India has a maximum value de minimis level of 10%, then the amount of subsidy that government of India should provide for the cultivation of rice should be not more than 10 crore. Anybody has a difficulty in this? Simple calculations. If your value of cultivation is 100, India is a developing country, 10% of it will become 10 crore. So the amount of trade distorting subsidies that are provided by Government of India for the cultivation of rice this year should not cross more than 10 crore rupees. This is basically the model. This is the idea of a de minimis level. Now please tell me, if you cross a 10 crore rupees, can Government of India go to WTO, file a complaint against you? Possibility is there. What has happened, I'll tell you the history later. But think of it. If India will cross 10 crore rupees, can WTO take up the case against India? Of course, yes. Can they investigate against the subsidies? Yes. Can they impose a restriction on India's subsidies? Can they ask Government of India? Of course, yes. And many of you will ask me, sir, what if India will not follow any guidelines under WTO? Imagine there is a policy. The report says India is violating the policies or India is violating principles of WTO. Government of India will not accept anything. What is the solution? Under WTO, other countries can impose sanctions on you. They can target your products and start imposing taxes, more taxes only on your products. Is the logic okay? Please do let me know. Right? Imagine Government of USA has filed a complaint against India's policy, and WTO panel says yes, USA is correct. USA is correct. India has violated the principles of WTO. So India should withdraw these policies. Government of India will say, I will not do it. I will not do it. Right? Because I'm a sovereign entity, I will not do it. Then WTO will allow USA to target Indian exports, impose more taxes on them. Do you have any recourse to that? Do you have any solution to that? No. And that is the reason generally the member countries accept. I hope you understand. Generally, the member countries accept whatever are the panel's findings under WTO. Okay, now let me go to the next one. Right, so green box is okay, amber box is okay. I'll tell you a couple of more points. Have patience. I'll add it to current affairs. Have patience. Third one is blue box. Some of you will ask, sir, what about the red box? What about red box? Under agreement on agriculture, there is no red box. I'll repeat the statement. Under agreement on agriculture, there is no red box. There is a amber, there is a green, and the third one is called as a blue box. Slightly tricky, understand this.
Let me show you.
Using the blue box subsidies, government will control the production. I'll repeat the statement. Using the blue box subsidies, and these are trade distorting subsidies. I'll give you example. Give me some seconds. Under the blue box, government will use a trade distortion policy to reduce, to control production. Sir, how? How is that possible? How can you say that blue box subsidies can be used to control production? Now, before going forward, there is a term MSP here. There's a term MSP. And many of you will ask me later how MSP can be classified as amber box subsidy. How MSP can be classified as amber box subsidy? Let me explain it. Follow this very carefully. All of you remember the definition of MSP? Let me know. One day we have discussed it. All of you remember the definition of MSP. What is definition? Minimum support price. It is the price that is paid by the government whenever they procure food grains. That's it. Whenever they procure the food grain, how much price it should be paid, government will decide. That is MSP. Now, how MSP is a trade distorting measure? Let me explain this. Imagine this is USA and this is India, and start the story from Indian side. Start the story from the Indian side. Government of India will announce a higher MSP for a crop. Let's say Government of India will announce a higher MSP. And if you ask me, sir, why does Government of India announce MSP? Reason is very simple. Government requires food grains under public distribution system. Yes or no? Please do let me know. Right? There's a scheme called as NFSA. And NFSA is implemented through public distribution system. That is, ration shops are established by the government so that the food grains are distributed. So from where does the government get the food grains? From the farmer. So from the farmer, government will purchase food grain so that they will distribute it to the needy people, to the poor people, etc. So imagine this year, government will announce a higher MSP. And when higher MSP is announced, please tell me what will happen to production and supply of this crop? Can I say that supply of this crop will be higher in the market? All of you okay with this? Some of you are saying increases or decreases. How decreases, my dear? Please tell me. If government will announce a higher MSP for paddy, don't you think more farmers will cultivate paddy? That is exactly what happens. Right? So more production and more supply. And when supply will happen, what do you think will happen to market prices? Let me know. What do you think will happen to market prices of this product? Market price of this product will fall down. Some of you are not even able to connect the dots here. If supply increases, my dear, prices will fall down. Law of demand, law of supply. We are there in the 4th week now. This should not be very difficult to you. We are there in the 4th week. Right? So, law of demand, law of supply, market prices will come down. Right? And when market prices will come down, please do let me know. Can I look at the market prices of this crop in India, which has fallen down, and the market price of the same crop in USA, which is slightly higher? Can I start exporting it to USA? Let me know. I will look at the market price of this crop in India, it is lower. And the same crop in USA, prices are higher. So I will purchase from India, export it to USA. Now you are the president of USA. Will you accept the MSP policy of India? Let me know. You are the president of USA. Will you accept it? You should not accept it. Some of you are saying yes. No, you should not accept it. Why? If I start exporting from India to USA, point number one, it means you cannot export to India. Very clear. You cannot export to India because the Indian products are much cheaper compared to your product. And second, what will happen to your farmers? Think of that also. What will happen to your farmers? Will your farmers be affected by this or not? Of course, yes. So now USA can simply oppose the MSP policy of government of India. That now what has happened? Please understand. Government of India does not agree with this. Government of India does not agree with these kind of classification of subsidies. Government of India says you are classifying subsidies and then you are imposing restrictions. You are imposing restriction. For a country such as India, this will not work out. Right? For a country such as India, it will not work out. Why? Look at it. In case of India, can you imagine the number of people who are involved in agriculture sector? Think of it. Can you imagine the number of people who are there in the agriculture sector? More than 45% of working population is there in agriculture sector. And if I don't provide MSP, they will have to sell everything in the market. I repeat, if government will not provide MSP, everything has to be sold in the market. And can you imagine market prices providing you a fixed price in the market? Think of it. Imagine market providing you 40 rupees per kg fixed this year. Do you imagine market providing you 50 rupees per kg fixed this year? Absolutely no. Markets are dynamic. Markets are dynamic. Market prices will depend on supply and demand. But in case of MSP, Government of India says, no worries. Market price could be anything. I repeat, market price could be anything. Government will give you a fixed MSP. So don't you think that will provide certain comfort to the farmers? That will provide certain relief to the farmers. That's the argument. Second one, have a look at this. The population which resides in India, which can be classified as poor population. I'll repeat the statement. The population which can be classified as poor population in India is very, very high. Crores of people can be classified as poor in India. Can they afford the food grains at market prices? They cannot afford. So government says, I will pay MSP, purchase the food grains, use it for distribution purposes. Is it okay? I'll repeat the statement. I'll pay money, that is MSP, purchase food grain from the farmer, use the food grain for distribution purposes. That's the reason this issue is called as food security issue. All of you can understand why this issue is called as food security issue? Please do let me know. Right? If you are reading newspapers, you'll come across this headline, food security issue at WTO, or else they will also use the term public stock holding issue. Public stock holding issue. Any problem why this is called as a food security issue or public stock holding issue? Government will pay the money, purchase food grains, store it and distribute it right under the NFSA. So it's a food security issue or a public stock holding issue. So point number one, right? We will have to provide certain comfort to the farmers. Second one, population which is right, which can be classified as poor is very high in India. So I don't have any option. I will have to pay money, purchase food grain, provide it free of a cost or at a very low prices to the beneficiaries. India does not agree with the methodology of calculation followed by USA. Simply by heart this point. Right? The method that is followed by USA, it proves that India is crossing more than 10% every year. Government of India does not agree with that. Next one, population which is involved in agriculture in developing countries is very high compared to developed countries. And think of it, where do you think per capita income of the farmers is higher, in a developed country or in a developing country? Let me know. Where do you think the per capita income of a farmer is higher, in a developed or a developing? Some of you people actually give very interesting answers. Developing country. My dear, USA has a population which is 1/4 of India's population, has a GDP which is right, let's say around 8 to 9 times bigger than India's GDP. Even then your answer is, sir, developing countries per capita income of the farmer is higher. How, my dear? You should not make a mistake there. Developed countries per capita income of farmers is much higher than that of India. Right? So that's the reason that population which is involved is very high. We need to provide assistance. Western economies provide much larger per farmer subsidy. Understand this point? Much larger. For example, many developed countries provide more than $1,000 per farmer in the form of subsidies. Is it okay? Per farmer, more than $1,000 in the form of subsidies. Whereas India provides less than $100 per farmer. India provides less than $100 per farmer. But please tell me now, under agreement, can I simply say it doesn't talk about per farmer, it simply talks about overall subsidies?
All of this is not difficult.
All of you okay with this? In these agreements, they're not talking about per farmer, they're simply talking about overall subsidy. Right? That is a concern. That is one more concern which has been raised by India regarding the concept of de minimis level, hammer box subsidy, etc. So what is the solution then? What will happen then? Right? Let me give you current affairs points here. Understand this carefully. Let me give you current affairs point. Now, if you remember earlier, that is Monday's class, I said the highest decision making in WTO is a ministerial conference. Correct? Do you remember that? Highest decision making authority under WTO is a ministerial conference. Now there was one ministerial conference back in 2013, very famous. This is called as Bali Conference. Indonesia, Bali Conference. So in 2013, there was a conference by the name of Bali Conference. In Bali Conference, Government of India argued that we should have a solution for public stock holding. We should have a solution for food security issue. Why? I purchase a lot of food grains by paying MSP, and every now and then government of USA alleges that I'm violating the de minimis level, I'm violating the agreement on agriculture. And I cannot control. I cannot simply provide lower MSP. I cannot control because these are my arguments. Population which is poor is very high. Farmers require certain amount of support. Right? In developed countries, per capita income of the farmers is much higher compared to me, etc., etc. So I cannot reduce. I cannot keep it below 10%. I need a solution for it. Please provide me the solution. And that is where, please remember this, as a result of this conference, there was one provision introduced, very famous now, peace clause. As a result of this, right, argument of Government of India and many other developing countries, there is one provision introduced under WTO called as peace clause. What is this peace clause? Listen to this very carefully. If a developing country in the process of providing food security crosses the de minimis level. I will repeat the statement here. What is the peace clause? If a developing country in the process of providing food security will cross the 10% limit, then a developed country will not be allowed to file a complaint against a developing country under WTO. Right? Anybody has a problem? Can I repeat it again? I'll repeat it. Please listen to me very carefully. It is there in the current affairs. Trust me, it is there in the current affairs. You can check Google. I'll repeat the peace clause again. If a developing country in the process of achieving food security, will cross the 10% level under the agreement on agriculture, then a developed country cannot file a complaint against a developing country under WTO. Right? This is called as a peace clause. This is called as peace clause. Now, please think of it. Food security purposes means what? Government will purchase the food grain for public distribution. Understand this carefully. Government will purchase the food grain for public distribution. That is under NFSA, midday meals scheme, public distribution system, etc. For these purposes, if you cross more than 10% by paying MSP, don't worry, a developed country will not be allowed to file a complaint against you. This is called as a peace clause. Now please think of it. Can I say, under this, government will not be allowed to procure food grains at MSP and export it to USA? Think of it. Under this, government will not be allowed to procure food grains and export it to USA. Why? You are exporting. Can you call this as a public distribution?
Only one company was there.
Let me know. You are exporting. Government is paying MSP, purchasing and exporting. Can you call this as a public distribution for India? No. Sir, why are you explaining this? Couple of months ago, this was there in the newspaper. Couple of months ago, it was actually discussed. The logic behind it was very simple. With the Russia-Ukraine war, with the Russia-Ukraine war, which started last year, right? Last year, Russia-Ukraine war, supply of wheat to the international market came down. All of you are okay with this? Supply of wheat to the international market suddenly dropped because Ukraine is the bowl for wheat production. I hope you have read all about this in the newspapers. But anyways, Ukraine is a bowl for wheat production in the international market. It produces a lot of wheat and exports a lot of wheat to the international market. With lower supply of wheat, what do you think will happen to many of the African countries, which are import dependent? What do you think would happen to African countries, which are import dependent? Right, food security in their countries would be affected. So Government of India asked WTO. Government of India asked WTO, can you provide an exemption from me? I hope you understand this statement. I'll repeat it. Government of India asked WTO, can you provide an exemption for me so that I have purchased these food grains for my food security purposes. Right, for the domestic market, I have purchased food grains. Wheat is there. I will take it, export it to Africa. Government is not allowed to do that. WTO said not required. Right, so I hope you understand all these points. Anybody has a difficulty? Right, all these are very, very important. Why this is important? If you check Google, India has become the first country to use peace clause. In the last couple of years, continuously, 1 year after the next year, Government of India has been using peace clause. Means it has ended up by providing the food MSP. It has ended up crossing 10% limit. But even then, Government of India says, I will use peace clause, which means developed country cannot file a complaint against me under WTO. Okay, so all these are the important concepts regarding WTO and subsidies. Done. So earlier, in case of international trade, this agreement on agriculture was left out. I've covered even this. Okay, I've covered even this under the concept of the subsidies. Now, the next chapter. Let me go to the next chapter. But private company in India will export it. Private company is different. Government is different. You think private companies are paying MSP? Think of it. Do you think private companies are paying MSP to purchase food grains? No. Private sector companies will pay whatever MSP, whatever is the market price. Whatever is the market price. So private sector companies are allowed to purchase, procure and sell because they are paying market price. Government which pays MSP is not allowed to export because they paid MSP right for food security purposes. They are not allowed to export. Okay, done. Next, agriculture and food processing. Agriculture and food processing. Can we go forward now? Okay, blue box. This is my mistake. Right, there was one more term, blue box. MSP. I wanted to connect the MSP with blue box. Let me connect the MSP with blue box. Now, think of this. I'll give a very simple example. In India, we do not generally follow blue box subsidies. I've checked multiple government documents. You can also check. We generally don't use blue box. But I can give you one example. China. A couple of years ago, China used a blue box subsidy. European Union used a blue box subsidy. For example, in China, they used a blue box subsidy by the name of corn producer subsidy. Corn producer subsidy. Okay, CPS, corn producer subsidy, was actually used by China to contain the production of corn. Now, what is this idea for blue box? Just understand this very carefully. What if Government of India will say, think of it, what if they are not using it? That's the reason I'm saying, what if Government of India will say, I will purchase a wheat from you at MSP. I'll purchase a wheat from you at MSP if you cultivate wheat only on 1 hectare of land. I'll repeat the statement. What if Government of India will say, I'll purchase wheat from you at MSP provided you cultivate it on only 1 hectare of land. Now please tell me, many of the farmers, don't you think, in order to sell it at MSP to Government of India, will contain their production only on 1 hectare of land? Yes or no? In order to get the MSP from the government, will they contain their production, limit their production only to 1 hectare of land? And when they limit their production to 1 hectare of land, what will happen to production of wheat in India? Production of wheat will automatically fall down. Production of wheat automatically will fall down. But in this example, can I say, I've used a trade distorting measure to limit, to contain production? Yes or no? I'll repeat it again. Can I say, I'm using a trade distorting measure, but to contain, to limit production? That is basically the concept of blue box subsidies. So in China, they used a blue box subsidy by the name of a corn producer subsidy. And in case of European Union, many of you are asking me, sir, what is the name of blue box subsidy used in European Union? Voluntary coupled support, VCS. Voluntary coupled support, VCS, voluntary coupled support. Now, because I understand this, because I'm going to the next one, because in case of blue box subsidy, the production will be limited. I'll repeat the statement. Because under blue box subsidy, the production would be contained. There are no limits in blue box subsidies. I'll repeat the statement. Right? Because the production will be contained, limited here. Right? There are no limits under WTO in blue box subsidies. Done? Right? Blue box subsidy is a name used in India. Right? If you are listening to me, you will understand it. I said there are no blue box subsidies that are found used by Government of India. Before explaining only, I told this to you. Why will government try to restrict production? What if the supply is going beyond control? Think of it. Supply is going beyond control. Production is very high. Lot of land is being used for this crop rather than being used for another crop. But don't you think for these kind of purposes, government can limit production using blue box subsidies? Yes or no? Does it make sense to you or not? Right? Government can limit production. Government would ask you to limit production because you might be, right? The government might be concerned that you're not cultivating other crops. What if everybody will start cultivating only wheat in India? What about rice? What about vegetables? What about tomatoes, my dear? Tell me, what about tomatoes? By the way, when I'm talking about tomatoes, read today's Hindu newspaper. I just hope you have read yesterday's Hindu newspaper or any newspaper for that matter. What has happened to inflation? Let me know what has happened to inflation, retail inflation. Right? What has happened to inflation? Inflation is very high, more than 7%. More than 7%. What is one of the reasons? Tomatoes. Read today's Hindu newspaper. Read today's Hindu newspaper. There is a editorial column on inflation. Very nice pictorial representation, graphical representation of tomato prices. Weightage is how much, right? Because of inflation, it has increased by how much, etc., etc. Good articles. 3 to 4 articles are there in Hindu newspaper today. Please read that. Okay. Arey Baba, can't you understand what I'm saying? If everybody cultivates wheat in India, who is going to cultivate tomatoes for you? Think of it. No, I've answered it already. Sir, it should be the right of the farmer. Government is not asking you to not cultivate other crops. Please understand my point. Sir, it should be the right of the farmer. Of course, yes. It is your right to cultivate whatever you want. Is Government of India restricting other cultivation? Who said? Did I say that? No. Has Government of China said that? No. They are simply saying, you want me to pay MSP? Then If you meet the condition, only then I will give you MSP.
Right, so you can see.
So I hope you understand. It's not government. It's not that government is restricting cultivation. No, government says cultivate whatever you want. But if you want my assistance, these are the conditions. That's it. Right. So simply do not create complexities in these systems. These are very simple systems. Okay. Done. So this is a discussion regarding subsidies. Right. Some of you are asking questions. Subsidies individually. Right. There are no questions. These will be clubbed with agriculture sector. For example, MSP. It's a subsidy. So you will discuss that under agriculture sector. Don't worry. Okay. Next chapter that I'll be covering will be agriculture and food processing. Very important for prelims as well as mains. Agriculture and food processing. Now, we'll discuss MSP, food subsidy and food security, credit to agriculture sector, warehousing, APMC and ENAM, technology in agriculture, and food processing. After that, we'll take up questions. Don't worry. Sir, international trade questions are left out. Today, Pakka, I will discuss international trade questions. Please don't worry, I'll discuss. Have patience. Now, what is MSP? MSP stands for minimum support price. It is a price that is paid by the government whenever they procure food grains from the farmers. I'll repeat the statement. It is the price that is paid by the government. Again, when I say government, please understand. Government literally doesn't go to the market to procure. Government doesn't know. Government has an authority by the name of Food Corporation of India. All of you heard of it? Anybody in the classroom who says, sir, in the last 2 weeks, there was no term FCI mentioned in the newspaper? Let me know. Is there any person who says, sir, I have been reading religiously Hindu newspaper, but in the last 2 weeks, there was no mention of FCI in the newspaper? And let me know. Every week, at least 2 days or 3 days, they will discuss FCI, mention FCI. Now, let's start. So, Food Corporation of India, on behalf of Government of India, will go to the market, procure the food grain. That's a basic idea. Okay. Now, MSP is the price paid by the government on procuring food grains from the farmers. We introduced the concept of MSP back in 1966-67. We introduced the concept of MSP back in 66 and 67. Why? What was the reason? You remember during 1960s and 70s, we promoted Green Revolution. Correct? During 1960s and 70s, we promoted Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? You are going to increase your productivity by using better quality seeds. Simple idea. Green Revolution refers to a process wherein farmers will get access to high yield variety seeds. High yield variety seeds. They will use irrigation. They will use fertilizers, etc. Right? So that will promote more and more productivity. That will promote more and more production. We introduced the concept of Green Revolution using wheat seeds. But please tell me, when the farmers will use irrigation, fertilizer, insecticide, high yield variety seeds, what will happen to production? Follow this. What do you think will happen to production? Production automatically will start increasing. And when production increases, what will happen to the supply in the market? Supply will also increase. And finally, what will happen to market prices? The market prices will fall, will crash. This will create problems for the farmer. This is a problem for the farmer. Why? Government asks the farmer to use better quality seeds. I have used. Production is higher, but I am being punished now because market prices are very low. In order to provide certain comfort to the farmers, provide certain cushion to the farmers, government introduced the concept of MSP. Right, where government said whatever could be the market price, whatever be the market price, irrespective of it, I will purchase the food grain at a price which I have already announced. Meaning what? Government announces MSP before the sowing season will start. Before sowing season starts, before the seeding is done by the farmer, before that itself, government announces MSP. So whatever is the MSP announced by the government, irrespective of the market price, government will purchase the food grain at this price itself, at this price only. That is the concept of MSP. Right? Now, next point, central government announces MSP. The center announces MSP. The state government announces, in addition to MSP, bonus. I'll repeat the statement. Central government announces MSP. States announce a bonus in addition to MSP. Meaning what? Let's take a simple example. Imagine a crop is cultivated. MSP is 1000 rupee. Now, this 1000 rupee will be paid by the central government to me. State government, right, apart from 1000 rupee, can also announce bonus, which means if I cultivate this crop, sell it to the government, I will get 1000 from the center and 200 rupees from the state. So total amount of money that I would be earning will become 1200 rupees. All of you are okay with the term bonus? And the next important point, is it compulsory? Underline the term compulsory. Is it compulsory or mandatory for the government to announce MSP? Absolutely no. Is it mandatory for the government? Is it legally applicable for the government to announce MSP? No, there is no law for it. There is no legal backing for it. There is no law which says that government of India must announce MSP. Which means, let me know, can government of India tomorrow withdraw MSP policy? Think of it. Tomorrow, can government of India withdraw MSP?